During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union battled for global primacy. Although this rivalry often played itself out in proxy wars, the two superpowers obsessed over how a direct war between them would unfold. For the United States, conflict scenarios primarily envisioned using America's technological advantages to offset the numerically superior Russian forces. Number 1. Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines. Any analysis of the U.S.-Russian military balance must begin with their respective nuclear arsenals. And the core of America's strategic deterrent is the Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine, SSBN. Of the three legs of the nuclear triad, America's 14 Ohio-class SSBNs provided with its most survivable and enduring nuclear strike capability. Each submarine is at sea roughly 68% of the time, with 77 days at sea followed by 35 days of in-port maintenance. Each SSBN stretches 560 feet with a beam of 42 feet and a weight of 18,750 tons when submerged. Powered by a pressurized water reactor, PWR, and a single propeller shaft, the Ohio class can travel over 25 knots at depths exceeding 800 feet. Each vessel carries 24 Trident IID-5 submarine-launched ballistic missiles and 4 Mk-48 torpedoes. Developed by Lockheed Martin to replace the Trident IC-4, Trident II SLBMs are three-stage, solid propellant, inertially guided SLBMs with a range in excess of 4,000 nautical miles, 4,600 statute miles or 7,360 km. They have a greater payload capability than the Trident ISLBMs they replaced. Perhaps the biggest advantage Trident ISLBMs enjoy over their predecessors is a new, GPS-enabled navigation system that gives them a circular error probable of just 90-120 meters, as little as 1/4 of the SEP of the Trident C4. Trident ISLBMs also are equipped with multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles, MIR Versus, allowing them to carry up to 8 warheads. Thus, each Ohio-class SSBN could carry up to 192 nuclear warheads on board. Altogether, America's sea-based deterrent boasts 336 nuclear-armed missiles, with about half of America's deployed nuclear warheads on board. However, under the terms of the New START Treaty, the United States will deactivate 4 of the missile tubes on each SSBN before 2018. Number 2. B-2 Stealth Bomber. When Ukraine began heating up in the spring of 2011, the United States sent a pair of B-2s to Europe on a short-range mission. Although the Air Force claimed their purpose was simply to train with European allies, the message to Russia was unmistakable. Indeed, the B-2 Spirit would almost certainly be an integral plan of any war between Russia and the United States, as its revolutionary blending of low observable technologies with high aerodynamic efficiency and large payload gives the B-2 important advantages over existing bombers like the B-52. Particularly essential, in light of Russia's more sophisticated anti-air systems, is the B-2's low observability, which is derived from a combination of reduced infrared, acoustic, electromagnetic, visual and radar signatures. These make the plane highly survivable and allow it to penetrate the most sophisticated adversary defenses. The B-2 also boasts impressive range. With a fuel capacity of 167,000 pounds, each plane can travel around 6,000 nautical miles without being refueled, according to Northrop Grumman, the plane's primary contractor. Although it flies at subsonic speeds, it can reach altitudes of up to 50,000 feet, which enhances its targeting capabilities. Speaking of targeting, it can receive retargeting information in the air. In fact, thanks to recent upgrades, B-2S can receive presidential orders directly, even in a post-nuclear detonation environment. The B-2 also has an enormous payload capability. Each plane can carry 20 tons, 40,000 pounds, of conventional or nuclear weapons to drop on high-valued enemy assets. This makes it the only aircraft in the U.S. arsenal capable of carrying the 30,000 lbg Bu-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, MOP, which can reportedly penetrate 200 feet of solid concrete before exploding. In other words, Russia can run, but it can't hide from the 20 B-2 stealth bombers. Number 3. F-22 Raptor. The F-22 Raptor would alone be on the front lines of any U.S.-Russian war. The aircraft combines stealth design with the supersonic, highly maneuverable, dual-engine, long-range requirements. It was built to replace America's aging F-15 fighters. However, unlike its predecessor and other air superiority fighters, the F-22 is the first highly survivable fighter to be able to simultaneously conduct air-to-air and air-to-ground combat missions. It can also conduct numerous other missions, including intelligence gathering, surveillance, reconnaissance and electronic attack. The aircraft's stealth capabilities are enhanced by its high maneuverability and particularly its ability to reach speeds of greater than Mach 1.5 without afterburners. Its advanced avionics suite gives it a first look, first shot, first kill capability. In other words, it fights beyond the visual and radar range of adversary aircraft. This is made possible by the F-22's weapons bay. Most notably, its 6 Raytheon-built AIM-120 Advanced Medium-Range Air-to-Air Missiles, AMRAAMs. It also boasts 2 AIM-9 Sidewinder missiles, which after scheduled upgrades to the aircraft are complete will be of the AIM-9X variety. They were doing great. In any conflict with Russia, the F-22's primary purpose would be to knock down the door in establishing U.S. air superiority. The 5th-generation F-22 would be particularly crucial in defeating Russia's highly effective Sukhoi Su-35S Flanker E. As Dave Majendra has noted in The National Interest, the Su-35 an extremely dangerous foe to any U.S. fighter, with the exception of the stealthy Lockheed Martin F-22 Raptor.
Flip back. 10,000. Pancake, sir.
Number 4. Missile defense. As Russia's conventional military power has atrophied since the Cold War, it has become increasingly reliant on its strategic deterrent to meet its security needs. That is why, as Dave noted, Russia withdrew its no first-use pledge and it is now willing to use nuclear weapons to de-escalate conventional conflicts. The vast majority of Russia's nukes are deployed on ballistic missiles, particularly land-based ballistic missiles. This is what makes missile defense such a harrowing prospect for Russia. Before the crisis in Ukraine last year, missile defense was without question the most potent disagreement between the two former Cold War adversaries.
An additional insurance policy. So when you make an insurance,
Russia was especially irked about U.S. plans to deploy a missile defense system in Europe ostensibly to counter Iran's ballistic missile capabilities. Under the Obama administration, U.S. theater missile defense in Europe takes a phased adaptive approach. Specifically, the United States will rely on more sea-based Aegis BMD ships and Aegis ashore sites in Romania and Poland to counter up to 50 short and intermediate-range ballistic missiles. This is part of a layered ballistic missile defense approach that also includes NATO's own missile defense system, as well as the Ground Mid-Course System, GMD, that protects the U.S. homeland. The core of the GMD system, which uses ground kill vehicles to intercept strategic ballistic missiles in their mid-course phase, is the 30 interceptors the United States currently deploys in California and Alaska. This number will increase to 44 interceptors by 2017, with the 40 new interceptors using an updated kill vehicle known as the Capability Enhancement (CEII). Notably, the United States is considering the deployment of more interceptors on its eastern coast. The system itself consists of ground interceptors and ground support and fire control systems. The ground interceptors use a multi-stage, solid fuel booster with an exo-atmospheric kill vehicle (EKV) payload. When launched, the booster carries the EKV to the target's predicted location in space. After being released from the booster, the EKV uses guidance data transmitted from ground support and fire control system components and onboard sensors to close with and destroy the target warhead. The ground support and fire control systems have a communication system that receives data from satellites and ground-based radar sources, then uses the data to task and support the intercept of target warheads using GBIS. Number 5. U.S. allies. While not a weapon in the traditional sense, the U.S. Global Alliance Network would greatly enhance America's ability to wage war against Russia. In this sense, it is telling that Russia lists NATO, rather than the United States, as its greatest security threat. For one thing, allies provide forward-deployed bases for the U.S. military, many of them along Russia's perimeter. From NATO in Europe, to the GCC in the Middle East and Japan, South Korea and the Philippines in Asia, the United States has encircled Russia, as Truman ably demonstrated to the Soviet Union with conspicuous air exercises during the 1948 Berlin blockade. These bases would not only enhance the potency of America's military capabilities by reducing their range, they would allow the United States to attack Russia from all sides. The Allies' own military capabilities also pose a threat to Russia. With some exceptions like China, India and Brazil, most of the top military spenders in the world are U.S. allies. Although the United States frequently, and justifiably, chides NATO members for not spending enough on defense, even without the United States, NATO still spends about 3 times as much on defense each year as Russia does. Indeed, any combination of Germany, France and the UK greatly outspends Russia on defense. And this doesn't factor in other countries like Japan, which itself has a military budget that is over half that of Russia's. No Russian allies come anywhere close in terms of the contribution they could make to any war effort.